Well, this is it. My Season 1 base on the Archaeo SMP. And unfortunately, all good things must come to an end. And as such, we're wrapping up Season 1. Hello, this is Harold Halfdan, and welcome to Archaeological Minecraft. I'm a former archaeologist who enjoys playing Minecraft and thought it would be fun to combine the two. In today's episode, we're going to do an Archaeo SMP Season 1 World Tour. I'm going to walk you through my base, do a bit of a retrospective. Basically, I'm going to give you my thoughts about what I liked, what maybe I felt I could have done better, what I learned, who knows. I'll also, at the end of the video, talk about what the plans are for Season 2. Yep, there's going to be a Season 2, so stick around to the end to find out more information about that. I also plan on flying around and visiting my fellow servermates' builds and showing off their builds for you guys. The one thing I can say for certain right off the bat is being a part of this server has been such an honor and privilege. To be able to play with such an astoundingly talented group of people, I'm endlessly wowed flying around and often marvel at my servermates' creativity and building acumen. What's more is everyone on the server is so kind and pleasant and professional. Everyone's been such a joy to spend time with, giving of their time, and fun to create content with. Now, I could keep gushing all about my fellow Archaeo SMP servermates, but I'm going to stop and let's get on with the video. But before I do is a bit of a heads up that I dropped links to those individuals' channels who make content on the server into the description so you can check those out. Okay, for real now, let's get on with the video. Okay, so let's do a little bit of a retrospective here on the base. And you know what? I'm gonna need some rockets for this, so let's grab some more rockets, because I'm probably gonna be doing a lot of flying around. Hello, LA. And then we can maybe see what I liked about this this build and this base, and what maybe I could have improved. So yeah, so I'm gonna go through the base. I'm gonna visit other people's bases too. I haven't shown off a lot of other people's bases on the server, so there's some really cool builders on the server, and so I'm hoping that that we can show off some of their bases here today. Let's start over here, because this was the beginning. I created a board here at the very beginning of the world and created some base updates. I wanted to kind of create a starter base, which ended up being these builds here, and then get a food source. Yep, successfully got a food source, and then there's a whole bunch of food around the corner there. Terraformed, did a lot of terraforming, and then wanted to plan out the area. So I did all that, accomplished all those. For plans for the future, obviously these are all in the past. So built a tower house, built a promontory fort. Greetings, sentient being, is this thing on? So that was Veez. Veez was watching us build our base and doing an anthropological study of us humans, because Veez was an alien at that point on the server. And then I wanted to build some farms, so villager breeder, I'll show you that. It's still kind of rubbish, but it's my villager breeder. Melon, pumpkin, did that. Bamboo, sugarcane. Didn't end up building an automated bamboo. I just would plant a whole bunch of bamboo and then would pull it up. Did do an automated sugarcane farm. I'll show you those. Different generators, moss, cobble, basalt. Didn't end up doing a cobble or basalt. It just wasn't needed. And then lava and smelter did that. So yeah, accomplished. I mean, this was not huge. It was hugely ambitious. This was not very ambitious. This is, you know, just kind of wanted to build a lot of archaeological builds on the server. Oh, gotta sleep. And so that's mostly what I hope to accomplish on the server, was just dot the archaeology server with archaeology ruins and archaeology builds. Okay, so let me fly up here. I'll give you an overview, maybe just a flyover of the base real quick so you can see. So I'm just to the west of Dragon's base. You can't see it because it's not rendered in here. But I built a little rope bridge going across here to the path. That was one of the first things I did to connect my island. I wanted an island just to, you know, I like living up high. I wanted to kind of confine my area. I wanted some areas that were river. I wanted some areas. I had an idea for this promontory fort, as I just talked about from the very beginning. So I wanted to make sure to have an area that I could build a promontory fort up here. I wanted to potentially build the aqueduct, so I wanted a nice area that I could span a fairly deep gorge, so I could have a bridge and the aqueduct. So I was looking for that. At the time, I didn't really know exactly where I was going to build this aqueduct here, but I wanted an island, just again, so I could contain it, so that I could kind of demarcate off my area, make sure I wasn't intruding too much on other people's areas, and yeah, so that was the idea. And then I just started dotting a lot of my stuff around the island here. So this was one of the first builds I did on the server. This round tower, which is Irish, and is just a bell tower in real life. And so this was one of the first builds. I did a individual episode about this, and so this was an easy kind of starter build for me to, so I wasn't sheltering just under the sun and stars. And so just a real easy build. Didn't take up too much resources to build. And then I started tunneling into the hill here, which is where I ended up putting, so you can see my little underbase. This is where I put my villager traders. I think you've seen that on some past episodes. Tidied this up a little bit since the last time. I'll show you that in just a moment. But let's continue the outside tour. This area here, under here is Sutton Hoo. So this was the Sutton Hoo burial. I kind of reburied it after my episode. Built a little archaeological dig site here, which was nice. I liked how that came out. And then I did a lot of terraforming, kind of trying to keep the landscape as close as possible while adding just some natural pathways as I would walk over the landscape and climb up and down the mountain. That's kind of where I steered my design for where the paths should go, and then just tried to keep them really organic was my idea. Try to not lean into the hard lines. So this was also from the Sutton Hoo and Viking burial. So this is a stone ship. This tower house ended up being my main base. So this is where I kept most of all my stuff. So this was my inventory. No automated inventory at all for me on this build. I just kind of labeled stuff, kept it here. I didn't have a huge amount of inventory or blocks that I needed to keep. Ooh. And then, yeah, let's go up before we go down. So you've no doubt seen some of this or similar. This was a design also that I took from one of my creative builds my episode on tower houses. So not every floor is the same, but I kept a lot of this stuff kind of thematically the same. And so up here I put some villagers, and so this is a little different than my creative episode. And then this was my bedroom and my little bathroom in here. So nice little bedroom. Up on this floor in what would be the main hall, in my creative, I put all my villagers. These guys were fun getting in through the roof here, and then a cleric, and that's essentially it. And then let's see, up here at the top, this little cat you hear up here has been here for ages. I don't know why he's not despawning, but you know, I don't think he always runs away from me, but he's not. He doesn't seem to despawn, and he just stays there. So this was the roof. Let's fly down here. Oh, this was a fun little thing here. So Dragon and I think Clara came by, and they built a little ice chimney here around me to protect. I was doing, oh no, I was doing some fishing, some auto fishing, just to get supplies to trade with my fisherman villagers, and so they saw that I was just exposed to the open air here, fishing, and so they built a little safe area for me. So I left that there. So that was nice of them. Let's see. You're flying around. This is the way down into the basement area. So this goes down to the basement, level 3. So here, I'll show you down into the basement. So we went up first. So we'll go down. I tried to keep the stonework really natural here. with not lots of nice creative, you know, vertical inlets and walls and whatnot like that. So this was my super smelter, all in here. So did a lot of that. This was my melon, pumpkin, lichen farm, and this stairway, this nice little zigzagging organic stairway, goes up to the villager breeder up here. I kind of like the flooring. I didn't decorate this area for a long time on the build because this was just a kind of farm area that you guys didn't see, and so I didn't really worry about decorating it too much. But eventually I got around to it, and I kind of like how that turned out. A big fan of the kelp as ceiling blocks. I think it's a nice texture. So yeah, so manual, berry farm, automated farm for these things here. And then obviously this is my lava for my super smelter. That's what fired my super smelter. Going down one more level. This was my moss farm. So this was basically ended up being a bone meal farm. So I did use it for moss, use a lot of moss in the promontory fort. I used a lot of moss in the promontory fort build. But this basically, I kept cranking along just to make as much bone meal and bone meal blocks as possible. This was my mud farm here. And then if I needed extra clay or terracotta, I could then stack up the mud around here and get more clay blocks. Was kind of what I ended up doing there. And then down one more level is just a couple more farms. So this is, as you hear, the sheep farm. A little, just simple and small cactus farm. Just enough to get, you know, a little bit of, you know, just a little bit of cactus, really for green dye more than anything else. And then this was the, I had some composters there, and, you know, more composters going there. So, yeah. So not too complicated on the farm. Oh, down here was to my mines. So if I would zigzag all the way down, all the way to the bottom, I would eventually get to my mines. Okay, so over here we had some of my other builds. So I wanted to dot around, as maybe you saw the episode, but I wanted to build some Irish builds. There were a lot of Irish builds around my base, and so I wanted to lean in that a little bit and build a couple more Irish builds. And so this is a cashel, so I kind of found room for this cashel. And then this is a, you know, a typical Irish vernacular house. So I liked how this came out. And then I like how the, I tried with this terrain to kind of, you know, from my recollections of living in Ireland, kind of, there was a lot of stones just kind of dotting the landscape. And so that's what I did here. So yeah, so a little Irish vernacular house here. So kind of secondary house that I could live in if I needed to. Right off the rope bridge. Yeah, so this aqueduct here, this was a pretty ambitious. This took a lot of resources, and so ambitious for me. Maybe not ambitious for other builders, but this was pretty ambitious for me as far as how many blocks I had at the time that I started this. I had to keep going back and getting brick blocks. That's what I did a lot of the clay for, and then breaking that down and making bricks, and then trading with villagers to get more brick blocks and whatnot. So yeah, so I like how this turned out. This was Roman aqueduct is what this was, and yeah, I like the looks of it. As far as the coloration of the blocks, you know, I used brick. I used the mud brick blocks. I used some tuff scattered in there and some stone bricks. I think it turned out pretty well. I think it looks better from afar. So if you look at it from further away, those colors kind of blend together a little bit and act as a little shading. I think when you're up really close to it, some of the blocks end up being a little harsh lines. I maybe could have blended that a little bit better, but you know, there's always a trade-off between the blocks being too homogeneous, so that they look better up close. But then when you look at it from farther away, it looks too samey, for lack of a better term. And so that was that. Let's see, what else? Oh, over on this other side, I built some of these little Irish houses. So no doubt you maybe saw these at that Star Wars movie when Luke Skywalker was on that island. That's these type of buildings in real life. Over here, I just needed a bridge to get over to where my hit the side there. Where my Roman amphitheater is, so the amphitheater of Pompeii over there. And so I built this bridge here. I really like this bridge. This is just kind of generally me being creative and building a bridge that's just kind of a rundown aqueduct that maybe someone's kind of just in later ages made use of. And so this didn't start as any kind of build. I didn't do an episode on it. I like how the bridge is kind of crumbling and falling apart, and aspects of it have crumbled and collapsed on itself, and I like how this one came out. The promontory fort here, this was my little ad hoc village. So originally I moved all my villagers from out here over into here, and so each one of these roundhouses has a couple of villagers in it, and then there's a couple of villagers in these areas over here. So this was my village. I ended up needing more villagers, so I just kept the breeder going. But I like how this promontory fort came out. This was a lot of moss blocks to build up this area. This sloped quite a bit. I also like how the cliffside went. I wanted a real kind of Irish cliff on the side here. Like you'd see kind of iconically in pictures of the coasts, maybe on the southwest side of Ireland. And so that's what I was going for here, with a promontory fort on top. So used a lot of basalt, used some different, tried to weather in some blocks. So I'm fairly happy with how this came out. A lot of moss and moss carpet sprinkled in as if there's a lot of water spray coming in there. And so let's see, seeing how we're on this side, let's hop up here and then show you the amphitheater. So this is a scale replica of the amphitheater at Pompeii. Oh, I fell. Hold on. And so I made a couple of episodes on this. So did one episode where I built it, did another episode where I talked about gladiators that fought here, and then we had a server event here where we had kind of a combat arena and fought a raid, which was fun. And then Dragon and Clara after that. This was super cool. They came in and made replicas and started populating this with all the participants and different people from the server. And this guy got killed and is being hauled off. And yeah, so this was super cool. I'm really glad that they came in and kind of built some more life. And as I was building it, some people, the cookie fairy kept coming by and throwing kind of more. So there's kind of a shrine in the middle that we left. And then this area they built out as a little forge so that people could get their weapons repaired. So that was pretty cool. There's a couple of builds that I did in collaboration with other server mates. So oh, I didn't mention this this Viking ship here. So that was part of the Viking burials. But in any case, if you follow this line over here, there was a village between Veez's base, and Veez's base is over there. We'll go visit that. But there was a village here with a really cool amethyst geode in the middle of it. And so what we did is we created a little storyline, because Veez was playing, as I said, as an alien who had crash landed on this world and was kind of studying us human Minecraft players. And so we built out this really cool village. So there was a little scientific lab to study, and then these were pillars that were in little observation areas so that the aliens could watch. And then they brought this crystal with them, and the storyline kind of lore is that this over time got converted into kind of native villages as the aliens were watching, and the culture eventually merged. These were ancestral Pueblo-inspired builds, and so I did an episode a little bit where I talked about the ancestral Puebloan people after I built this. But yeah, so the idea was to basically go through and, you know, power all this and kind of, you know, merge together the two different cultures. And so yeah, so I think this was a great collaboration. Veez did awesome building out a lot of this alien looking stuff, and, you know, did a great job on these pathways and this little brook that would go down. Yeah, and so over here is Veez's base, so you can see that the path kind of winds through here. And so yeah, Veez was building in as a kind of alien world, so really cool, very talented builder. A lot of decoration. A lot of these buildings have different farms in it. A lot of decorations went in there. A little armor stand work. Cool little pond. A little alien foliage. Hovering end crystals. I mean, it's just the detail and creativity is, I think, off the charts here on this. I'm super impressed with Veez's build here. Always have to be careful flying over that I don't hit the end crystals. I'm always worried. But look at this. Isn't this awesome? So yeah, so this is Veez's base. Pretty cool stuff. While we're over here, we're not too far from Moon's base. Maybe we could fly over to Moon's base. Let's see, that's right over, yeah, over here. Yeah, Moon found an old jungle temple and then built it up, and then was right next to Badlands and was kind of expanding into the Badlands. So Moon's base is super cool. I mean, this definitely has a jungle temple feel to it for sure. Nice texturing work. Yeah, Moon's another super talented builder on the server. Moon also was responsible for building quite a number of the farms. Yeah, Moon ended up building the Guardian farm, which was one of the main XP farms on the server, and then Moon also built the Shulker farm, which is how we all had ample supply of Shulkers. Okay, so let's fly back over to my base, and I'll show you the other main village collab that I worked on. This village was the one between Dragon and my bases. Okay, so this village over here, this was a village, so this Dragon's base was over here, so his ice farm, his iron farm, all that's up over here. And so there was a village between Dragon and my base, and so we basically redid it, and Clara helped quite a bit on it as well. And so the idea behind this was to have a real working, you know, villagers, and they get to wander around however they want, wherever they want, and get on with their normal lives. And so this, I'm really happy with how this turned out. This really feels like a lived-in, lively village. So yeah, so this was our little village, a little orchard. I think this turned out really cool. So let's look at Dragon's base over here. So his farm area is right in there, and then this was Dragon's main base. So a lot of Dragon's area was underground here. I always get lost. I like the little ping pong table. That's a nice little feature. A little cantina in here. So I like that. And then yeah, early on, I really did give a shout out to Dragon. He you know, early in the server, he let me use some of his farms and his villagers and whatnot. So, but yeah, I get lost in his builds quite a bit. So I'm not quite sure where. Oh yeah, here is all his villagers, villager traders. Yeah. Okay, so going from Dragons, let's see here. So this was a nice little forest that Dragon and Clara built. With a great little, I think this was a, I want to say it's a sawmill, but it's like a steam-powered sawmill. Yeah, super cool design on this stuff. And then the both of them do a great job decorating. Okay, so continuing up the road here, we get into Clara's build. So I think you've seen a couple of videos, maybe, if you've been watching my channel for a while, with Clara's build. So Clara's been working on this all season. I mean, this place looks so epic. This is such a huge mega build here. And so, yeah, every single tower's, you know, a little bit unique. Huge keep going, and, you know, these rooms are all decorated in here. You absolutely should check out Clara's channel and watch that. All these gardens in here, the different kinds of gardens, different towers. Dragon built a huge, dragon head here. Yeah, super impressive. Yeah, I could fly around and explore this all day, but I would just recommend you guys go check out Clara's channel. I'll link all this stuff in the description for all these fellow server mates. Oh, I missed. I thought I was going to get through. Oh, that ended up pretty well. Okay, so let's head from Clara's. Let's see here. Let's go over to spawn. I think should be around here. Yeah, this is our shopping district. Getting in here. So you've probably seen this if you the shopping district if you've seen some of my other videos. Yeah, just touring around here. This was a little tavern I built, and but it was kind of a library, and converted it into a place so you could play the stats game. And so you just push the button, and it pops up into the shulker box, pops up a stat. But yeah, this is just all the shops, shulker shop, and yeah, a little dock to do some fishing, and slime shop, and some other awesome little shops here. There's like a custom banner shop somewhere, and yeah, terracotta shop. Okay, so let's head out over here. I think this is Lazugod's area. Oh yeah, he's got lots of stuff here. Yeah, so I don't know that I've ever shown on videos Lazugod's area. So he was building in this kind of Spanish style, which is super cool. Yeah, look at this. I mean, that just looks awesome. So yeah, so Lazugod's got a pretty cool area here, and I'm not going to show you the whole thing. A lot of these buildings have different farms in them. So yeah, so pretty cool stuff. But I do want to fly over here and show you this area over here. So over in this area, Lazugod, and then also underground in caves, but I don't know the cave entrance, so I'll just have to show you this on the walls over here. So Lazugod's taken the time and built some pictographs on the walls. So you can see that there's a duck here. So ducks are pretty thematic on the server, and ArchaeoPlay's Discord, and then you can see there's a shovel there. But yeah, so Lazugod's decorated this area quite a bit. Okay, so as we fly over in this area, you can see another thing that Lazugod's built, and I did a whole episode about this based on a server event that Lazugod did, but he built this whole huge mosaic pools ruin. So this was an excavation that we participated on as a server event. Let me get out of this little hole here. And then you can see he created these little mosaics that it was our job to interpret. So I'm not going to go into a huge amount of detail here because I did a whole episode on it that you definitely should check out. Now after this, let's go find ArchaeoPlay's base. Oh yes, okay, so this is Archaeo's base. So Archaeo built this awesome kingfisher. Again, more ducks. And then another big duck there. Let's land here so you can see the duck, so that's nice. Little duckies and little mallard duckies and rubber ducks, looks like. And yeah, and then Cookie Fairy came and put a cookie in the kingfisher's mouth. Fly up here, you can see more Archaeo's base. Yeah, so ArchaeoPlay was building some of these think these were roundhouses, maybe. I may have that wrong. Yeah. Yeah, I normally build, I normally use hay for this, but I do like how that looks. Yeah, I'm totally gonna have to steal that idea there. I really like how that looks. Okay, so let's fly back and head back to my base. Oh, yep, and you guys have seen me fly over this a bunch of times. This is the calendar garden. This might be my favorite build I did on the server here. I think this came together awesome. Took a lot to get all the resources, all the different flower types, but I think this came together spectacularly. Yeah, like I said, this might be my favorite build I did. Oh, and I never did move these poor guys over. Well, I think that's the tour, maybe. Back at the base, so that's the grand tour. Well, that wraps up this video. I hope you liked the world tour, getting to see everyone's bases on the Archaeo SMP Season 1, and hearing my thoughts and going through a little tour of my own base. And maybe enjoying seeing some of the builds that you watched in other videos, and then being refreshed on what those were. As we get ready for Season 2, which is set to start on August 10th, something cool we're doing is picking specific structures or buildings from Season 1 and making ruins of them, and transporting those ruins into Season 2. So, as you watch my Season 2 builds, or as I'm traveling around that world, you might be able to spot ruined versions of the things from this world. Pretty cool, I think. I suspect some of the people on the server who stream will likely be doing that on the 10th, and others of us who make videos of the content will likely be releasing them shortly after that kickoff event, so be on the lookout for those episode drops. Well, that's it. Hopefully you enjoyed all of my Season 1 builds, as well as this episode world tour. Make sure you take the time, if you like the video, to like, subscribe, and all that stuff. And if you want to see more videos about builds I did on the Archaeo SMP Season 1, please check those out here. Thanks. Have a good rest of your day. Bye for now.